The Jinan New Energy Automobile Expo, or Electric Cars New Energy Automobile Expo, held in early March, is a fascinating affair. Although it is a new energy auto show, it's actually a global hub for low-speed electric vehicles, especially the so-called old man's joy vehicles. The atmosphere here is quite magical realist. Many booths have hired professional models, but the ladies seemed to be in a rather sour mode. The highlights of this expo, however, go beyond just the models. There are also mini versions of various luxury brand cars. If foreign automakers saw this, they'd exclaim in shock, "Wow, what a copycat." Now we understand why the models all have a forlorn expression on their faces. Imitations of Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Land Rover, and Maserati are not uncommon, and even knockoff versions of Bentley and Rolls-Royce won't be absent. Even though at first glance, you can tell that the automakers are copying the designs, a closer look reveals that the designers have actually managed to skillfully avoid outright plagiarism. This imitation of the Porsche Cayenne, nicknamed Old Man's Joy, has attracted quite a crowd. The emblem also features a shield, but instead of a horse in the center, there is a donkey. In addition, there are shiny 911 mini letters at the rear. This is an imitation of a Maserati, featuring the Maserati trident emblem of the sea god, combined with the English word rich. There is also an Aston Martin imitation, the DBX Mini. It's said that driving this car feels like being possessed by James Bond himself, giving it quite a bit of charm. This Old Man Joy vehicle has seamlessly adopted the most imposing waterfall-style air intake grille of China's domestic luxury brand Hongqi. And surprisingly, it doesn't feel out of place at all. It can satisfy the desire for a grandiose appearance. These Old Man's Joy vehicles are not just trendy in appearance. Their interiors are also equipped with the latest electric devices and design concepts. They even feature AI intelligent voice interaction systems, providing elderly users with unprecedented convenience and user experience. These rugged-looking Old Man's Joy vehicles are sure to win the hearts of the older gentlemen. Driving such a car can not only showcases their taste and style, but also impresses the onlooking ladies with their refined demeanor. Automakers have not overlooked the preferences of the older ladies either. At the Expo, you can also find the most popular car models among women, such as the smart Mini Cooper. There's even a youthful pink body color option available, catering to the ever-youth hearts of these old ladies. This is the classic Mini Cooper with a BMW twist, which looks quite fashionable. To tackle unpaved roads, you can always count on the reliable Mercedes G-classes. The Land Rover Defender imitation is quite similar, except that the emblem has not been copied. The little Tyrannosaurus Rex went all out and copied the Dodge Ram 1500 TRX from top to bottom. They even put an original version at the back to promote it. The Lexus Big 57 flips the original emblem horizontally, creating a clever imitation. At this expo, even the former design director of Zodiac wouldn't dare to claim how bold they were in copying designs. With over 300 exhibitors and 1,800 new vehicles on display, it's estimated that 1,200 of them could potentially be sued and receive court summons. With so many defendants, they would have to line up for security checks when leaving the country. In the end, the worst-case scenario for these defendants would be changing their logos and relaunch their products. In addition to the Mercedes G-Class from the last century and the Maserati released just last month, the Expo also showcases the most precise steel plate suspension tuning data and the most unpretentious car manufacturing techniques. Various supporting suppliers are vying for attention, competing side by side. As long as customers are willing, they can assemble a car on the spot with a customized emblem. Sometimes we have to admit that each car model here is a combination of emotional appeal and rational consumption choices. Designers gain inspiration from the demands of the general public, while engineers use the most cost-effective methods to manufacture vehicles. This approach has transformed those once unattainable luxury brands into affordable, customizable Old Man's Joy vehicles, available for just 30,000 yuan. Old man's joy vehicles have also made their way onto e-commerce platforms. A metal shell Mercedes can be yours for just 25,000 yuan. At first glance, the highly recognizable logo and somewhat familiar design might make you wonder, when did Mercedes release such a model? Of course, this car has no real connection with Mercedes. The only link is that the manufacturer has copied Mercedes' appearance and logo. If you think that's expensive, don't worry, there are even cheaper models available, such as the domestic Hongqi vehicles. This Hongqi style car has a body length of 2.9 meters, a top speed of 60 km per hour, and is priced at just 12,500 yuan. It comes with 5 doors, 4 seats, and a sunroof. Although there is no truck, you can fold down the rear seats and open the rear door for cargo space. If you prefer a Mercedes over a Hongqi brand, no problem. This design can also be made into a Mercedes-style model as shown in the picture. On e-commerce platforms, there are many more low-speed luxury cars for sale. In addition to Mercedes and Hongqi, other brands such as BMW, Land Rover, and GMC have also been the target of imitations. These vehicles share some common features. They are all low-speed electric vehicles. Their designs mimic luxury cars, and they are affordably priced. Confronting the bustling imitation market, foreign media remarked, "It seems then that the expression copyright infringement doesn't translate terribly well into Mandarin. Foreign automakers are probably crumbling inside." In addition to the Euro copycat targets like Mercedes, Bentley, and Rolls-Royce, even popular domestic models cannot escape the fate of duplication. Shuangmar BG40, a model that imitates Beijing Auto BG40. Not only does the appearance closely resemble the Beijing Auto BG40, but even the name is identical, BG40. Judging from pictures taken at the auto show, the Shuangmar BG40 adopts more boxy design elements overall. But there are many original design upgrades. The front face of Beijing Auto's BG40 features a classic 5-hole design, while Shuangmar BG40 innovates with a 4-hole grille design, 1 hole less. Wanwei New Energy model imitates Li Xiangwan, with a rectangular tinted black honeycomb grille connected to the headlights on both sides, bearing a strong resemblance to a mini Li Xiangwan. Even the lower bumper section is nearly identical. Don't underestimate Old Man's Joy. Although its top speed is a modest 40 km per hour and its maximum is 70 km per hour, it boasts truly impressive sales. These vehicles can be spotted throughout both large and small cities. On secondary streets in Beijing, you can find at least one Old Man's Joy every 10 meters. In alleys, they appear every 5 to 6 meters with 1 to 2 of them inside. In a fourth-tier city, you will find even more of these vehicles. According to statistics provided by Beijing Business Daily, there are 6 million Old Man's Joy vehicles across the country. However, the forward-looking industry research institution immediately countered, asserting that there were in fact already 10 million. In Shandong, known as the Old Man's Joy headquarters, the local Automobile Association reported that there were 3 million units in 2018, with a production capacity of 1 million units per year, 1 million related employees, and an economic scale of 100 billion yuan. So what makes car owners opt for Old Man's Joy? A female car owner in her 40s from rural Henan bought an electric vehicle for over 30,000 yuan. Though she has a driving license and can drive regular cars, she finds Old Man's Joy more convenient for parking and travel. She primarily uses it for picking up or dropping off her children and commuting between rural areas and country towns, feeling that the quality is acceptable. This car owner mentioned that many people in her area have purchased Old Man's Joy, making it quite popular in nearby rural areas. Some car owners in Beijing choose Old Man's Joy mainly for the convenience of short-distance transportation for the elderly and children. They typically drive around their neighborhoods and urban areas, covering no more than 30 to 50 kilometers. One reason they don't purchase well-known new energy vehicles is that, according to the owners, purchasing a regular car requires waiting for a license plate, which is issued only once every 2 months. With so many people participating in the lottery, the odds of obtaining a plate are roughly 250 to 1, which could mean waiting for several years. Therefore, they chose the Old Man's Joy car. It is convenient to drive, easy to park, and the overall quality is okay. Old man's choice advantages, including convenient driving, easy parking, and overall decent quality. However, Old Man's Joy has also attracted criticism. Some car owners believe these vehicles are slow, don't follow traffic rules, and have unpredictable driving paths, often leading to hazard situations. Many Old Man's Joy manufacturers used to produce electric scooters. Before 2018, Old Man's Joy vehicle frames were crafted in these factories, with steel pipes hand-welded together one by one. In November 2018, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, along with 5 other departments, issued a notice to strengthen the management of low-speed electric vehicles. This move placed Old Man's Joy under the watchful eye of regulators. The goal was to upgrade a batch, standardize a batch, and eliminate a batch. According to the new rules, R&D personnel had to make up 5% of a company's workforce, with a minimum of 100 production workers and a total capital reaching at least 500 million RMB. Despite these regulations, Old Man's Joy vehicles didn't entirely vanish. In some regions, their contribution to GDP was simply too significant, and the government couldn't just wipe them off the map. Fast forward to July 2020, when the Wuling Hongguang Mini EV made a grand entrance, flaunting regulation-grade manufacturing quality with similar pricing to Old Man's Joys. That year, it sold a whopping 128,000 units, leaving the annual production of low-speed electric vehicles in the dust. In 2021, the Wuling Hongguang Mini EV sales skyrocketed to 426,000 units, while the annual production of low-speed electric vehicles slid further down to 320,000 units. As we cruise into this year, sales of microcars, including the Wuling Hongguang Mini EV, have started to hit the brakes. According to the latest stats, in January 2023, Wuling Hongguang Mini EV sales totaled 16,416 units, a year-on-year drop of 38.5%. Cherry QQ ice cream sales melted down to 2,736 units, a month-on-month decrease of 40.4%. And Chang'an Lumia sales dimmed to 4,711 units, a month-on-month plunge of 65.8%. Riding the wave of price reductions in China's automotive market, some Old Man's Joy manufacturers might end up in the scrapyard. Old Man's Joy vehicles, which ditch the needs for registration, a driver's license, or insurance, might have questionable quality control and feel a tad shaky. However, compared to motor vehicles, they are a whole lot of convenient, flexible, speedy, and budget-friendly. It's no wonder they've become a hit with grassroots workers, particularly urban and rural farmers. In rural areas, most people primarily depend on shuttle buses for transportation, with relatively limited schedules. When rural residents travel to nearby fields for farm work, their options are limited to walking or using motorcycles, three-wheelers, or Old Man's Joy vehicles. Consequently, safety might not be the top priority for many. The key selling point of Old Man's Joy vehicles is that they do not require a driver's license, and their low cost makes them a popular choice among elderly individuals in rural areas. Moreover, pricing plays a significant role. Cars, being consumers' goods rather than merely production tools, follow an essential principle in sales. For swift widespread adoption, the ideal pricing for automobiles should be close to the average resident's yearly income. For instance, in 1908, the Ford Model T was introduced in the United States at a price of $850, significantly lower than the nearly $5,000 price tag of other brands at the time. The average wage for American workers back then was around $800. This rule remains relevant in today's Old Man's Joy market. According to data from China's National Bureau of Statistics in 2019, the per capita disposal income of Chinese residents was 30,733 yuan, with urban residents at 42,359 yuan and rural residents at 16,021 yuan. The current price range of Old Man's Joy vehicles is between 6,000 and 20,000 yuan, hovering around the per capita disposal income of rural residents. But why has Shandong emerged as the epicenter of Old Man's Joy production? In terms of industrial capacity, low-speed electric vehicle technology evolved from electric scooters, otherwise known as the small electric donkeys. Shandong is a major producer of these vehicles. In the first half of 2017, Shandong's electric bicycle production reached 6.54 million units, 20% more than the combined output of Henan and Jiangsu, which ranked second and third respectively. Shandong boasts a substantial number of supporting industries for the four core technologies of electric scooters: batteries, motors, chargers, and controllers. If you search for related accessories on Alibaba, there's a high probability the shipping location will be in Shandong. At present, Shandong has 69 registered small electric vehicle enterprises, with a total investment exceeding 11.628 billion yuan. If unregistered car workshops are included, there are over 200 electric vehicle factories in Shandong, accounting for 2/3 of the total number of electric vehicle brands in China. A low-speed electric vehicle factory in Weifang, Shandong boasts an impressive annual production capacity of 300,000 units. It is complete with assembling lines, robotic welding arms, and stamping workshops, offering everything traditional automakers have. The area occupied by this low-speed electric vehicle factory even surpasses that of the Shanghai General Motors Cadillac factory. Additionally, it features test tracks for various road conditions. What's even more astounding is that through acquisition, this low-speed electric vehicle company has obtained qualifications to produce high-speed electric vehicles, further expanding its brand portfolio.